Welcome to The Cynical Developer, the podcast that helps you to improve your development knowledge and career through explaining the latest and greatest in development technology and providing you with what you need to succeed as a developer. In this episode, I wanted to talk about getting stuff done, and in particular, one of the methods that I use to keep going, to get my side projects done, to learn that technology. Now, if you're a regular listener, you'll know that I don't do downtime. I'm constantly doing something. I have to keep myself busy, or I get really bored, and when I get bored, I get grumpy and more cynical. I'm always chasing something, trying to learn something new, or build something for somebody. Now, I get asked a lot how I find the time and the energy. And to be completely honest with you all, it's a struggle. Even more now with a young family, and as they're starting to get older. You've probably heard of the terrible 2s and the terrible 3s, but nobody warned you about the terrible 4s. It's intense. And I have twin boys, so that's a multiplier effect, and they take up a massive amount of my time. Now, I've talked about the Pomodoro technique before on the show and how I use that to organise my work. So I'm not going to cover that again today, but you can go back and listen to that. And I do use that quite regularly to help get things done. What I wanted to talk about was how I actually find the motivation and the energy to actually do all of these other things that I do outside of my day job. Now, I don't normally sit down of an evening until the kids have gone to bed, which is normally around about 8:30 in the evening, and I'm normally up around about 6 a.m, if not before. So it's a long day. And after a long day of coding, the last thing you often want to do is go and sit down at a screen, start reading or coding, or even talk to somebody for 2 hours or more about technology for a podcast episode. It takes some self-discipline to keep going and get these things done. Now, don't get me wrong, I love doing all of this stuff. And if I didn't, I wouldn't be putting myself through this pain at times. I wouldn't be neglecting other things in my life to like produce these shows and things for you. And I wouldn't put up with the nagging that I get for always working. I get that from my other half. I get that from my friends, from everybody really. That I don't take time off. But how exactly do I make myself do these things? Now, I have two methods that I use. And the first I think is pretty obvious, and most people will do this, I imagine. And this is to schedule into my diary blocks of time to do things, and I always set a reminder notification as well. I can make sure that I don't double book myself by doing this as well. So I can't decide that tonight I'm going to be going and working on X, Y, and Z project, but then something else comes up and I need to be somewhere else. I can look and go, well, unfortunately I can't do that tonight because I've got something else on. You don't need to tell that person what that something else is. But having the notification come up as well means that it's fresh in my mind. My memory is horrendous for remembering dates and times. I forget everything. It's very easy to let it slip your mind. If I didn't have the calendar on my phone, I'd be lost most of the time. Now, just because that notification goes off, that doesn't give me the burst of energy on its own to get up and do something. I use a technique that I've called the 3-second rule. Now, I don't know if this has any scientific backing or if anybody's ever looked into it, but this is something that I found that works for me. So, take it with a pinch of salt and adapt it for yourself. But before I go into details of exactly what my 3-second rule is, let's set the scene, shall we? The kids have been playing merry hell, but I finally got them to sleep. It's 9:30 p.m. I've just sat down. My head is aching. I'm tired. I haven't eaten yet, but I know that I've got to get my side hustle on and take over the world with my latest project. So I ordered takeout. as I'm in no fit state to be dealing with hot oil or ovens and sharp knives and things like that, then ping, notification goes off. Time to take over the world, Pinky. This is sort of where my technique comes in. As you read that notification, it's very easy to just dismiss it and just get on with your evening. Slob out in front of the box and waste your time. So what I do before my lazy brain can intercept that notification and dismiss it, I count down slowly from 3 to 1. So, just 3, 2, 1, and then get up or make a move towards where I need to be to get whatever it is that I need to get done, to get it done. And I think it's that quick distraction that seems to be enough to stop my brain from kicking in and screaming, no, please let me do nothing for a change. And I think this came about from reading a book called The Chimp Paradox, and it was about understanding the different levels at which the brain works, and noticing when automatic responses are taking over and try and reprogram yourself a little bit. Now, once I'm sat down and I'm working on whatever it is, then it's all gravy. But I do need to be careful here, and this is maybe a personal thing, but I can get too involved with what I'm working on. And I get a second, third and fourth wind with it. And I can be sat here until 2, 3 a.m. working on it. And then I have to get up again at 6 a.m. to get ready for work. Or, it might be the weekend and I've got to get up and do stuff with the family. So you end up then in a vicious cycle of tiredness because you're playing catch up on your sleep. So next time you have something to do, that that you don't feel like really doing, take a deep breath, count 3, 2, 1, and then go and get it done. And as well as being able to get things done, you'll also feel better. You'll feel great once you've done it. You'll feel a sense of accomplishment. Now, something else I've noticed recently was that I got back on the low-carb train, eating keto. I've been off that for about a year or more, due to one thing or another. And let's say I'm back on it, and I've got a lot more energy, and I need to sleep a lot less, so that helps as well. I don't need the 8 or 9 hours that I was needing a few months ago. I'm sort of existing on 5 and 6 hours sleep, and everything's great. Now, I'm not saying go out and go low carb. It's definitely not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is, if you're finding it hard to find the motivation or the energy to get stuff done, maybe take a look at what you're eating and maybe what you're drinking. It might help. It might help you. And that's it really for this episode. Next time, we're going to be talking about WebAssembly with Guy Royce. So tune in for that, because it's a very, very good talk. Very interesting. And until next time, thank you for listening to The Cynical Developer. I'm James Stoddart, and this has been the 3-second rule. If you have any questions about this or any other episode, then drop us an email, a tweet, or leave a comment on the website, where you can find all the resource links, show notes for each episode. And if you enjoy this episode, please leave a review on your favourite podcast platform, iTunes, Stitcher, whatever it is, and help The Cynical Developer to reach more developers around the globe.